Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with another Alice video, with my Alice junk journal. Right, if you watched yesterday's, you will have seen me put the fabric on the spine, and I had a happy accident with the glue, but I'm liking it now and I'm leaving it. All it's done, with me cleaning the glue off that seeps through, it's made it look quite aged. It looks like a book that's been handled, and the wear is just on the places where you would handle the book. So I'm happy with that, and I'm keeping it like that. So right, what am I doing today? I'm gonna do the insides of the covers. Right, I've gone ahead and I've cut 2 pieces of cardstock because the book is 8.5 high and 6 1/4 wide. I've cut 2 bits of cardstock, 8 1/4 high and 6 wide, and I'm just going to attach these, because then what I do make to go on my inside covers I can make away from the book, and if there are any happy accidents I can, if need be, I can start again. But first, what I'm going to do is, in fact, you don't need to see me stick those on. It's so simple. I'm going to stick those on like that, end of. So let's put that to one side. So, and because, as you know, I've got the world's most terrible memory, I'm going to grab a little notepad and make a note of the size of that area I've got on each, on the front and the back. So the card was cut 8 1/4 inches high and 6 inches wide. So whatever I make now to go on my inside covers, I don't want them bigger than those dimensions. Right, what I thought I'd do for one is I'm just going to do some stacked pockets, yeah, with a little bit of decoration on, and the other one I may not do, because I did it on my last video. I might think of something different. I did a policy envelope style pocket. I might do something different, like a flip out with a magnet, something like that. But the first one's just going to be a bog standard, yeah, some stacked pockets. But I want my stacked pockets to be able to hold plenty of stuff. So yeah. Right, I'm going to make the background for this first one out of this lovely card. So I want to cut this. Again, I'm going to cut it to, I think I'm going to go slightly smaller than the full width and go 5 3/4. So we'll have a little border around the edge. So I'm going to cut that to 5 3/4 inches wide, and I'm going to cut it to 8 inches high to give us the same little border. So that's going to be the base of my pockets. Now I need to choose paper that I want to make my pockets out of. I want a pretty high pocket to start off with, so I'll measure this. I want the first pocket, I want it to come, I'm going to say 6 inches, but I don't want it to be just a full straight across pocket. I'm going to make it go at an angle, like so, yeah. So what am I going to make it out of? I've been looking through the pad, and I think because most of this pocket's going to get covered up by other pockets, I'm going to go for this one, yeah. It is a little bit busy when you look at it full on, so I'm going to make a pocket that's going to be just a 6 inches high, I think I did. But I also want to leave 1/2 inch at the bottom for a little fold over. So I'm going to cut this at 6 1/4 inches high. No, sorry, 6 1/2. I want my little lip to be 1/2 inch. So 6 1/2 high. I'm making the pocket 5 3/4 inches wide, and I want a little tuck on either side as well. So we need to make it 6 3/4, so they'll get 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch on each side. So that's 6 3/4 wide. I then want the pocket to be angled, so I'm just going to go ahead. This doesn't matter, the angle is not important. See, it moved then, didn't matter. I'm going to do it like that. I'm then going to bring my scoreboard out. I'll get my little one because this one will fit on. And I'm going to score the bottom edge and the two side edges. I'll move this paper away now we've decided which one we're working with. Just to that side. I always end up with an awful mess on my desk within the first 5 minutes of starting, don't I? I hope you're following this so far. This is how my mind makes pockets. Oh, that's the wrong one, isn't it? That's better. So, I'm going to start off by doing a 1/2 inch, excuse me, 1/2 inch score down that side and along the bottom. I'll also get rid of this edge and along this side. There we go. I hope you can see that. You perhaps see it better if I turn it over. Yeah. I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to miter that one. I don't need to miter that one because it's already at an angle. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off. I'm going to do the same with the corners. Cut a little bit. And I'm going to turn my scissors slightly and like that. Same with this corner and like that. And I'm going to go ahead and burnish these. Does score pretty well, this cardstock with that. Well, it's thin cardstock, thick paper, isn't it? It scores pretty well without cracking. I really like it for that. So that's that. So that is going to be our first pocket. So I'll bring back in what's going to be the backing sheet. That will be that. And then that will be our first pocket at the bottom. Yeah. I'm then going to put other pockets here. I want one going straight across and then I want another small one. So what paper shall we do that one in? I'm thinking I might want to do one. I'll do a small one in that at the bottom. But firstly, I want to do one that goes the whole way across there. Yeah? And I can't use this one because it's not wide enough. So let's pick another paper out of the pack. I could pick one of the 8x8s. There's loads to go at, isn't there? I'm very tempted, you know. No, I don't want to lose that postcard. I think that's going to have to be used as a sideways tuck. What's under there? Oh, that's the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. That'd make a lovely pocket, wouldn't it? That's always time for tea. But then I don't want to cut into that sheet. What am I like? We've got this one. No. There's going to be a lot of choosing in this video, I can tell you now. Could we get the cat on? I don't think we want the cat on. And I think this is all cards. Yeah, then we've got the back sheet. Let's bring the box out and have another squint at what we've got. So that's just some journal cards that need cutting. They're my chipboard pieces, my charms that were made in a previous video. I'll get those out of my way. They're going to be used on the finish. Everything I've saved. I don't throw anything away until the end of a project. That's a possibility. And this is, let's have a look. Before we look at the 8, we've got the cards. They're double-sided. More journal cards. I hope I'm not sending my focus funny with all this wafting. I could make a pocket out of a journal card, couldn't I, instead of doing what I was about to. It's difficult to decide sometimes. We've got a bit more of that. I'll take that out. Yeah, there. What I'm What do? Yeah, I used those to mat the front cover, didn't I? I do like this sheet. And that's one of the single-sided ones. I like that bit. I really do. And we could turn that bit sideways, I suppose. I'm really not sure. They're the pieces from the other paper pack. There, I knew I had that. I'd cut that off. I want that. That's what I want. I want to make a pocket with that. So, put the lid on. I got there eventually, didn't I? And let's move that. You sit back down there, mate. So, we're up to here so far. I'm doing it again, skin H's on things. Now, I don't know if it matches. I'm getting all matchy-matchy, and I don't know if I like it there. I honestly don't think I do. So I'm going to go back to my 8x8 paper pad and have a look at what's in that. So what have we got? That would make a good pocket, wouldn't it? That. Yeah, I've got 2 of the 8x8 paper pads because I was kindly gifted one. And then I did buy that other set from... Yes, I did. My Creative Spirits. I haven't actually looked, I haven't actually used any of that one. So I'm guessing in here is where these are all going to be. Yeah, we need something more going on, don't we? So I need to use something as a pocket. And I'm hoping I still have that piece left. Here's the right, here it is. I knew I had it. Oh, yeah. I think that's what I want to do. But do I? I don't know. Oh, Lordy. I'm really struggling to make decisions today. Do you have days like that? I do. And I think today is one of those days. I think some kind of taller pocket might be better. Wonderland is better when you're completely lost. No. No, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to go back to plan A. After all that looking and all that pondering, I'm going to go back to plan A. I'm going to do a pocket. I like that it says a long tail. And I want that on my inside front cover. I do. It's just deciding which paper to make that other pocket from. And it will be upside down. We could make pockets that don't go completely over to that side. You could just make one out of that. The edge could mirror that edge there, and it could finish. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You probably haven't got a clue what I'm on about at the minute. But I've decided I want... Yeah. Let me get my scoreboard. All will become clear as I make it. Some of you'll know what I've got in mind already, won't you? I'm going to put my 1/2 inch there. I'm going to have to get rid of some of that. That's what I don't want to do. I could have had that at the top. Now I've scored the other edge. I could have had that at the top. That would have been fabulous. I'm going to do it. I'm going to score this edge at 1/2 inch. Because I have gone and scored there, I'm going to see what occurs if I make this a pocket that doesn't go the full width of the journal. I might like it, I might not. You might still be looking at me thinking, what on earth is that woman doing? It will all become clear. I'm cutting these bottom corners off again where I've scored. I'm going to mitre those tops. I'm going to fold and burnish these. Every time I start a video I think I'm going to be really tidy and not lose my tools. Yeah. It's like a New Year's resolution, isn't it? That lasts until 2nd of January with me. I'm going to be tidy. Yeah, of course you are. So, score these. This is why I make my pockets out of my journal. Can you see? Because I change my mind. I chop and change. So, the long tail. That needed to go on something red. It really did need to go on something red. The long tail piece, didn't it? I don't know. But I'm not happy with that. We really need to mirror that on the pocket. And then we don't need a flap on that side of the pocket. So I'm going to get my trimmer. I'll use the Tiddy one this time. And I'm cutting that off. I don't like it. It needs to be an open-sided pocket, this, not a closed one. So that's gone. Sorry. That's going to go there. And I'm going to cut a corner off that. And it needs to be the same angle as that. So to make it the same angle, I'm going to move it up, keeping those two edges flush. Yeah. I'm going to turn it over, making sure it doesn't move. I'm going to grab my pencil again and I'm going to draw along there. And then I'm going to cut this corner off by lining those two pencil marks up, and then with a bit of luck, the angle that I cut off will match the angle that I cut off the other one, and it'll all look like it were meant to go together. So that's that, and that's that. Yes, now I'm liking it. Now that's looking like it should go together. Yeah. Yeah. And something is going to go on there for decoration. So it still gives us two large pockets. We'll get plenty in there. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm not doing any inking. I don't think it needs it. So I'm going to go ahead now and glue these on. Right, what glue shall I use? I think I'm going to use art glitter. Ta-da! Oh, I did get my excuse me, I got my Cosmic Shimmer bottle sorted, so we're going to use Cosmic Shimmer. So I'm going to come in and glue down that edge and a bit down that edge. I'm going to glue I'm gluing all three at once, but I'm making sure that bottom edge is tucked over, folded over last. Yeah, then it makes it easy to get things in and out of your pocket. It just does. So that should stick to that and make life a little bit easier. I'll give you a tip what I do when I'm gluing things together like this, where I need to get the corner perfect. If you've got one, I grab my scoreboard like that and I place it into the corner. It just really makes things so easy to line up. Yep, when I've got it lined up, I'll take it off to press everything down. There we go. So that was a little insight into the mind of a crazy woman when she's deciding how to make pockets. I shouldn't need the the scoreboard to line this little one up, but again I want that on the outside. Press that on. It'll transform this pocket when we just start sticking things in it. I tend to like to make my pockets out of papers that have not got a lot of, well, yeah, there's a lot of pattern, isn't there? We've got dots and we've got those, but there's no pictures with anything going off that I can ruin with me cutting if I decide I've cut it in wrong place. Do you know what I mean? So that's that. Now what I would now do with this is put it under something heavy, and I'm going to pop it under my mat while it all dries. Now let's move on to the back pocket. What to do with the back pocket? I was tempted to do a policy envelope. I tend to make policy envelopes in hardcover journals on the back cover. It's something I like to do. So do you know what? Why break with tradition? Some of you might not have been watching me when I did this before. Some of you might not have watched the particular video where I did this. So let me grab the papers we're going to use. Right, I do have some of the spotty one left over. I think maybe that may be wide enough to do a policy envelope. I'm not sure. We've got some of this left over. Got a bit of that. And we've always got some of these, haven't we? It might be nice, you know, to do a policy envelope with the playing cards. Because I'm not going to use all these playing cards, am I? These are the ones where the back is blank. So I'm thinking I could do the policy envelope front with the playing cards and the flap with the backs of the playing cards. Yeah. Now that's, oh, I'm ripping something. It's all going to depend on the width then, whether it's going to fit on without chopping playing cards in odd places. But that's what I think I want to do. So let's refer to my little note I made earlier about the area we've got to play with. We've got an area 8 1/4 high and 6 wide. So let's measure how wide these playing cards are. I'll grab my little metal ruler. I honestly don't know how wide they're going to be, but how perfect is that? 4 cards is 5 3/4. That could have been made for this job. So I'm going to make a policy envelope with the playing card pages. And do you know what? I'm going to pause for 2 ticks to tidy this desk up before we get started. Right, I'm back. Desk's a bit tidy now. I've got a bit more room to work. So we're going to make a policy envelope. So the area at the back we've got to play with is 8 1/4 high by 6 inches wide. We then cut a backing piece for the front that was 1/4 inch less than this. I'm not going to do that with this one because it's going to get really completely hidden. Yeah, we're not going to see very much of it at all because we're going to make a full size policy envelope. So what I'm going to back my policy envelope onto is one of these inside front covers that measures the full 8 1/4 by 6. So my policy envelope is going to be, I'll just leave a little border around, so I'm going to make it 5 3/4 by 8 inches. So we'll write that down again so we don't mess it up. 8 inches by 5 3/4 envelope. Right, because we decided we've got enough to play with for that. So I want to cut this for the front of the envelope. It needs to be 6 3/4 wide, so I've got an 1/2 inch again at each side to score and turn under. So I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to start from the edge of the paper, and I'll tell you for why in a second. Well, I'll tell you for why now, because I want the front of the envelope to show full playing cards, yeah? And we measured it at just under 6 inches. Is it going to be 5 3/4 if I measure a set amount of playing cards? Yes, it is. It is exactly 5 3/4. So I'm going to make it a smidgen more than 5 3/4. Yeah. So I want 1/2 inch to start just before that playing card. Yeah. And I want the other 1/2 inch to go just after that playing card. So I'm going to measure for my first cut 1/2 inch from the edge of that playing card. Yeah. Can I even do it on this trimmer? I can't, because I can't see the 1/2 inch mark. I'm going to have to use my small trimmer. So the first cut I'll make is for the height of the policy envelope front. Now that is something that you can alter. That can be any size you want it to be. This is the backing sheet. If I want the policy envelope to come up yay far, am I on camera here? Put that down. I'm going to want the front of the policy envelope to be 3 cards high, and I'm going to want a 1/2 inch on the bottom to turn over. So I'm going to cut this at 1/2 inch after the first 3 playing cards. This one doesn't have to be so precise, so if I don't get it spot on 1/2 inch, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to make that first cut with my big trimmer, because I'm guesstimating really where 1/2 inch is, because this trimmer starts at 3/4 inch. So it's about there. I could have measured it, but that would be a bit too much measuring in my life. I'm then going to swap to my little trimmer, because it'll make my life easier. Because this trimmer, yeah, although it starts measuring at 3/4, there is another mark at 1/2 inch, and the 1/2 inch mark is just before the plastic gauge. So 1 2 3 4 cards wide, I want to measure 1/2 inch from the edge of that card. So I'm going to put the edge of that card up to my plastic gauge, and then I'm going to cut. I hope I did it right. I really hope I did it right. And I'm going to do exactly the same at this side, 1/2 inch from the edge of that card. Even if I haven't done it right, I can alter it with my scoring. And I'm going to cut. I've obviously done one side bigger than other, but this is where I make it all go exactly as I want it to when I start scoring. So grab my scoring tool. I'm going to throw that one away, it's too small for anything. So I want to score in that black area there, yeah, just between those 2 cards. So rather than go right from the edge, I'm going to line that up. I obviously didn't quite get 1/2 inch, but I've got enough to make a lip to turn over. So I'm going to score down there. I've just realised these playing cards are not lined up completely, but they're lined up enough. And I'm going to score at 1/2 inch again from the edge of that one-ish, 1/2 inch-ish. Yeah, the playing cards are not all lined up. Didn't even notice that. I'm then going to score at the bottom along that black line. They're lined up horizontally but not vertically, or is that the other way around? I really don't know. I can't tell the difference between horizontal and vertical when I've got a piece of paper sideways. So I've scored there. We're now going to see whether whether my brain's figured this out okay. I'm going to snip again, mire to that edge, mire to that edge, and the bottom corners. But this is how I make policy envelopes without wasting a lot of cardstock at the back that you're not going to see. I don't see the point in sticking your fancy cardstock down where you're not going to see it. So I just make a front and a flap for the top, and then I stick the two pieces together on a backing, which you will see as I do it. So I've done the bottom one. It's the other side one you want to do, missus. Sorry if I keep clearing my throat. I think I'm going to have another lozenge. I'll finish my first one. Love them. So that is the front of my policy envelope, yeah? If I bring the piece of black card back in, we'll see whether it's going to fit on. Yeah, perfect. Of course it is. Perfect. Why wouldn't it be? Many, many reasons why it wouldn't be. So, and then I'm going to make the bit that folds over out of this, yeah? And again, I'm going to make that 4 wide, but we don't need this to be wider for any lips to fold over. We just need this to be 4 wide, so I can go from this side, yeah? And I'm going to do it. Big trimmer needed again. I'm not really doing any measuring yet. I'm just going to cut. That. There you go. Can you see what I mean about those playing cards not lining up? They're not quite, yeah, they're not lined up perfectly. So, yeah. We want this to be slightly smaller because we're going to tuck it down inside. So I want to also take some off that end. But, I've just seen that at top. I've decided I want the flap to incorporate that piece and one set of playing cards. So I'm going to come in and score. So I'm not scoring so much at a specific measurement with this, am I? I'm scoring to make the best of the paper. So I'm going to score there. That's going to be the top of our policy envelope, like so. Yeah. And we just need to make it the correct width to slide down inside. And we obviously don't need all that. We just want it sliding in enough so that you don't see. And I tend to find that works if we make it about the same height as the lip, or maybe slightly longer. So I'm going to cut that again. I'm going to cut it, let's have a look what's on the other side. I'll cut it directly on some playing cards. Then we can use those backs. So that's the fold over flap of our policy envelope. And we know we need to make it a bit narrower. So I'm going to cut a little bit of this side off. The one where we've got the most black. And then I'm going to come in and see whether that fits in yet. No, it don't. I could measure it, or I could just keep chopping bits off. Quite happy to go with the keep chopping bits off, because I might find I want to nibble a bit off each side. Does it fit? Still a smidgen too wide, so which side's got more black on? That side I'm liking to take a bit off this time, just so it looks nice and even. smidgen too big, a teeny tiny smidgen. I'm going to go off that side this time. Right, that should do it, and that has done it. That'll be spot on. Right, believe it or not, that's a policy envelope. It will be when we get a string button closure on it. Or we could put a magnet on it. Could we put a magnet on it for a change? And then put something else on top? I think we could. Right, so that's going to be the bottom part of the envelope. And then that, this may be even longer than we need really. That is going to be our top flap. I quite like that with the plain cards, I do. Yeah, there we go. One policy envelope. I think I need to round those corners because those corners always look good rounded. I'm going to use my medium size, which is what, 7mm? I can always make it bigger if I want to. I couldn't make it smaller. Put that one again, make sure it got everything. It's not quite done that perfectly, so I'm just going to file that bit off that it left. So there we have a big policy envelope for the back of our journal. We just got to decide whether we want a string button closure or a magnet. I always go string button, and I think I might prefer magnet this time. Yeah, let me grab some magnets. This could be good. I keep all my magnets on a little shelf behind my door. Here we go. Come on, magnets. I used to go through so many magnets when I did mini albums. And I haven't put a magnet in for a good long while. But there's my magnet stash. And the rest of my magnet stash. Come on, magnets. You know you want to come out. I'll be back in 3 hours. 3 hours later. Here we go. Look like I've got diamonds, don't I? These just happen to be the bags that my magnets get delivered in. Oh, they're big magnets. We don't want those for the books. They're fridge magnety type magnets. Here we are. Yeah, I've got a fair few magnets. I've misordered a fair few magnets in my time and got some that were too thick, some that were too small. But the ones I'm going to use today are these. These are very thin. They're like 1mm in diameter. Sorry, 1mm in depth. I think they're about 1 centimetre diameter, those. I don't know whether I'm going to need 1 or 2 sets on here though. So let's have a... Oh, they're even smaller. Woohoo! Be careful with these as well, because if they smash together too forcefully, they will break. Right, I'll measure these magnets. They're not the ones that have a plus and a minus on, but if you think back to your school science lessons, and you'll remember that magnets... Oh, there you go. Don't measure magnets with a metal ruler. Well, you can, but they won't fall off while you're measuring them, will they? These measure 1/2 inch, which is... It's about 1 centimetre. About 1 centimetre. About just under 1/2 inch. Yeah, so I'll get 2. Magnets always want to go together in a certain manner because you've got a plus and a minus. You've got a north pole and a south pole on a magnet. I'm just going to decide by putting one under there. Yeah. And one, I'm going to let that magnet go where it wants to go. I want to know if this is going to be strong enough. It all depends what happens when we've got things in. No, it don't. I think one in the middle is going to be enough. So we're going to use one magnet. I'll put the others back. I'll move those far away from any electronic equipment. Magnets, strong magnets and electronic equipment do not mix. So I want one of the magnets, I'm going to put it behind, and then I'm going to put the other magnet there. I'm going to cover that up with something, and I'm going to cover that up with some paper on the inside so nothing gets caught. So the first magnet I want to stick is this one. I want to make sure I'm sticking it in the right place, because I know that one wants to go about there. So if I measure the height, that one, no, we'll put that one further down, put it there. So that one wants to go about there. Yeah. And to stick my magnet on, I use glossy accents sometimes, but it takes a long time to dry. So I'm going to stick my magnet on with some of this super duper red line double-sided tape. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece and I'm going to put my magnet on it, and I'm going to trim around it. I don't have the magnets that come with the adhesive on ready, but I also, when I've bought those in the past, I was never quite happy with how strong the adhesive were. I prefer my red line tape, and I'm just going to roughly trim around that tape on back at magnet. There's lots of ways to stick these magnets on. You'll see other people do it different. Don't mean I'm wrong or they're wrong. We're just doing it different. And then I'm going to burnish that onto the magnet. Woohoo! Tiddlywinks again. We haven't played Tiddlywinks for a while. I've completely forgot again already where I'm sticking it. It was about halfway up them cards, weren't it? Yeah, of course it were. So, just so I can remember, I'm going to put a teeny tiny hole in here so that when I turn it over, I'm still popping it in the right place. I've got a pokey tool here somewhere. That one will do. It's not a pokey tool, but it's going to give me a little bump on the other side, so I know where to place it. Put your sticky tape back in its bag, love. Yeah, I've got a little bump there. So I'm going to carefully peel the backing off this. Woohoo! And I'm going to stick it down where that bump is. Yeah, sorted. That's my magnet on. But then I need something on it so things are not going to catch when they go in and out at pocket. So I'm just going to take a piece of paper, any paper. It wants to be not too thin, not too thick, perhaps 160 GSM. That looks about right. And I'm just going to pop some of that inside the pocket there. Yep. It doesn't need to be that big, Julie. You just, yeah. You're taking it to extremes there, aren't you? That will do. And I'm going to stick this one on again with my red line tape because I don't want it coming off. You can use any glue you want for this. I just prefer using this. Trim around the edges. I want the top edge on extremely well lined up. And then I'm going to put another one across the middle, exactly where the magnet is. Right then, to eliminate any, there we go. I'm going to burnish this really well. If it sticks UPVC windows together, I think it's going to manage on my policy envelope, don't you? Oh, I can even get these off without having to resort to the blunt craft knife. I'm going to cover that magnet up. I'm putting that not quite up to the top, but near enough. There we go. That's going nowhere. Right. Now I won't be putting my magnet on there until after I've just assembled this policy envelope on its backing. So that's going to go on first. So I'm going to use my art glitter for this. Again, I like to have the bottom flap on the outside. You've got less chance of things getting stuck in the bottom of your pocket then. I'm not going to line this up using my scoreboard because we're having a little bit of a lip, a little bit of a border, just a teeny one. So I'm just going to line it up best I can. Wibble wobble. It's not quite right. Over there a little bit, she thinks. Yeah, that's looking good. Down at that side, I reckon, just a smidgeroonie. I don't think Precision Police are going to be coming in measuring it, are they? There we go. I'm happy with that. I'm going to give this a bit of a burnish. And I'm just going to grab a piece of card or anything just to make sure nothing is stuck. No glue seeped out. No, that seems fine. Yep. So that's the front of the policy envelope. We're then going to stick this bit on. I've decided I'm not putting a notch in there. I don't want to ruin the playing cards. It's not that I forgot, I just didn't mention that I had no intention of putting one in. You know me, if I'd forgot, I would tell you. So that's going to be that. Yeah. I don't find it necessary to put glue all over there. It just doesn't need it. But I'm going to put some down the edges and across the top. Right, there we go. So I'm going to slide that back in now. You need to crack on with it because you don't want the art glitter catching and gluing. Oh, I've got some on the desk there. Before you've got this where you want it to be. Don't pop it on that bit where you've got it on the desk, woman. So that needs to go down a smidgen more. I wish I had a baby white ready. That needs to go up a smidgen at that side. And that's lined up lovely. I've got a little bit of glue seeping out that I don't want. So I'm going to grab my glue rubber. And I'm just going to rub it before I press down. There we go. And I'm going to come in and press that down. Then I'll grab a baby wipe to get that glue that's seeped out on the desk. I was very clumsy doing that. Oh, huggies again. I really will remember to bring a damp cloth in. Yeah, it dries pretty quick, that art glitter. I should have used my Cosmic Shimmer. It doesn't dry quite so quick. Gives you that little bit more wiggle room. Now that needs drying, so we want a piece of kitchen towel. Craft room staples, these. Baby wipes, kitchen towel. You can hear me banging my desk. Right, here we go. So that is our policy envelope. I'm pretty happy with how that's come out. Now I've cleaned desk, I'm just going to burnish that top some. And there's one thing left to do, and that's to put our magnet on there. So to decide where to put that magnet, we know we've got a magnet there, don't we? Get the other magnet. It will flip to the way it needs to go, and you won't need to worry. So this time I'm going to do it with glue because I couldn't do my little circle and get it all perfect. And I'm going to use my art glitter. I'm then going to come in and cover that panel. So, and I won't be covering that panel today because this glue is going to need some time to dry. Oh, I've just remembered a little trick to stop you getting it where you don't want it, the glue. I've got a piece of label backing. Might take a while to get it under now. I'm going to try and get this magnet off. Aha! Put your piece of label back in between the paper and that. There you go. Then if any glue seeps over, it will go onto this and not onto your paper. Art glitter does glue metal, but it does seem to take a bit longer to dry. So then I'm going to put this flap down, and then we know that that is in the exact right place we need it to be. So what I then come in and do is put something heavy on that, and I leave that a good hour before I touch it. So what I'm going to do is I'll pause the video, and in an hour I'll come back and do this bit. So 2 ticks to you, an hour to me. And hello again. It's not dry, it's not been an hour, but what I've done is I've taken the piece for the front cover out from under my mat, which is now lovely and flat. We've got the piece of black card. So what I need to do is attach this to the black card and then attach the black card to the inside of my journal. Yeah. But I do tend to wait until after I've sewn my signatures in to glue that black card down. Yeah. So what we're going to glue it down with, while I've got it out on the desk, I'm going to use my tape. Yeah. Yeah. I know it sticks really well. Any strong tape would do, or glue, whatever. So, yeah, might as well use this. I think I'm really happy now with my inside cover pieces. They need to make a little bit of a statement, but I don't like them overly fussy. I think about how I use my planners and diaries, because I don't use fancy journals. They're too nice to write in. I have fancy journals. I've done swaps and had gifts, and will I use them? No. When I decide that I can take the plunge and actually write in a journal that I've been gifted or got in a swap, I will. I think I might even film it. I got a lovely little trifold from the lovely Jo, who is the journal lady. And me being me, Jo is so nice. I still haven't sent hers to her. Because I was very busy. I've had a lot of rubbish going off in my life last few months that I'm not going to talk about on YouTube. And she is very understanding. And the woman is patiently waiting. So it will come to you soon, Jo. And I'm going to put a bit more here. Yep. It's more like, I've done these inside pockets more like you do something for a mini album. But I did make a lot of mini albums for a long time. I do like how much less precise making a junk journal is than making a mini album. But then sometimes I revert to mini album making mode. So yeah, some of my hardcover journals end up being like hybrids between junk journals and mini albums. If you're not familiar with what mini albums are, the lovely Fiona, who is Miss Paintalot, is having a little foray into mini albums. So she's been making a few. Bob over and have a look, they're really good. Yeah, mini albums are more for photographs and a little bit of just writing, whereas your journals are more like diaries for doing a lot of journaling and maybe the odd photograph, aren't they? Well, you can use them how you want, can't you? Right, I'm going to take those two off. And then I'm going to grab my glue stick and I'm going to go over that tape with glue stick. This is a mini album trick. And I saw Fiona do it and it reminded me of it. It gives you wiggle time on strong tape by putting the glue stick over. But you still do then get the strong adhesion like you do the tape. So you will notice I've not took the backing off the other things. I've only took up the other tape. I've only took the backing off the two bits in the middle. And I'm sorry, but I have to pick this up to line it up spot on. This is where my perfectionism comes in. Little, I don't know if that's fluff or tape string, but it's gone. Am I happy? Am I happy? I'm happy. I'm happy. So I'm now going to go and press down. This is where I do need my craft knife, my blunt craft knife. I hope I can find it, because I've got far too many pots of pens and pencils on my desk. Things have got mixed. They've ended up in the wrong pots, basically. Not in the pots they should be in. So I'm not finding them straight away. I used my blunt craft knife yesterday as a scoring tool in my video. So it can't have gone far, but can I find it? No, I can't find it. So I'm going to grab a different blunt craft knife. Right. So we stuck the middle, didn't we? We've not stuck the tape on the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel that edge up and I'm going to grab the back in. My tape in the middle is grabbed now. So this is not going to move, but it's going to allow me to grab that back in like that and then peel it out. Yeah, card makers and mini album makers will be familiar with doing this. Yeah, so that's those two sides now stuck. I'm now going to go to my bottom corner and peel the backing off those two. I learnt this trick in a card making class yonks ago. Absolutely yonks. Right, so that's that. That is our panel for the inside front cover done. So I'll bring the cover in and I'll show it you how it's going to look. So that's lovely. I like it, I like it, I like it. And then what did we decide we're going on it? I did decide I wanted to put, I left it out on the desk. Here we go. I've got craft knives rolling past like a piece of tumbleweed. A long tail. I could put that there actually. Yes. That looks better there, I think. I know it might get covered up, but that means we can then put something else there, doesn't it? I don't know what at this moment in time. I'm not going to rush to put something on just to show you me putting something on, because I don't know what I'm putting on, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So that's going to be that page. Our signatures will go in there. It's not been an hour, but I think it's been long enough for me to dare move this. I'm going to do it by separating it there. Yeah. So our magnet is stuck on there. So just pop this to one side while we cover that up. Now I'm going to cover that up with I'm going to cover it up with a journal card. I think it'll look nice having something interesting on the inside, won't it? So we just need to pick one. One of the sideways ones, as I call them. What did I do? Well, there's no little journal cards that were cut up in here. I went and put them in a big box instead of putting them back in, because I'm just silly like that. Oh no, they're here. I put them over to one side when I tidied up. Is that going to fit? I've been determined to put that somewhere and it don't fit there, does it? So what do I want to put there? Bring your other journal cards back in, woman, and see which ones go sideways. That one doesn't. I just want to keep rifling through these and not picking one today, don't I? No. There's not enough landscape journal cards in this set, I'm deciding. Everything seems portrait, and I want something that's landscape, and there aren't enough. So, right, we have some here that can go either way. Yeah. And yeah, it could be a little secret journaling spot, couldn't it? I think one of those will fit. Is it? No, it's too tall. It's too tall. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape on that, and I'm going to leave it at that because, again, I'm not rushing to decide what I want to put on there. This video's perhaps been about an hour long just with construction. So, yeah, I'll show you what I've decided to put on there another time. So I'm going to put a nice long piece of double-sided tape on. I'm not going to remove the backing because when I remove the backing it will be stuck to the back of whatever we put there, won't it? So I'll cut that off. There we go. But at least we can now use that. Oh look, I just love that noise. Just listen. I think that's enough. We've heard the snap noise enough now, haven't we? Let's bring the journal cover back over and we'll be able to see. Well, you will never get this look again, will you? Because we're going to sew some signatures in. So that's our, I like. Are we in shot? Up a bit. So that's our, yeah, policy envelope on the back cover. And that's our, yeah, thingamajig on the front cover. Yeah, we could change to a red one on there, couldn't we? Ooh. Oh, yes. That's what we're doing. We're layering 2 up. That's it. Yeah, we'll be layering those 2 up. I like it then. Because then we've got that at the front of the book, a long tail. Yeah. So that's what the front of my book's going to look like. And then we can put all sorts in here. I'll start by just an example of what it's going to look like when it's stuffed full of goodies. Remember, we've got the postcards and the playing cards as well. So you can see now why I like to use a plainish thing. Oh yeah, that's not open at the side, that one. I forgot that. I tried to put it where it wasn't. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, someone did mention in comments that it were very precise and she couldn't do this. You could if you tried, but you've also got to want to. Not everyone wants to be this precise. It has turned into a very precise project, this, hasn't it? And I did set her in comments. I actually had to sew myself a few wonky tags just as a bit of light relief yesterday, which I did. But anyway, that's today's video done. That's our front cover and back cover decorated. So next week I might do a couple of videos through the week with some embellishments that I'm putting in as I'm decorating some more of the pages up. I didn't want to show you every page I decorate, or this would have turned into a 6-month series. Yeah, rather than it's already been a month as it is, and I want to get this done, dusted, finished and out of my life, shall we say, in the next week. So next weekend will be sewing the signatures in. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.